All right, we are back live on the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith, and we got a special guest joining us on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Richie Williams. Richie, how are you doing, man?
Duke, I'm doing good, man. How's it going?
Oh, can't complain. Same old, same old. We got some uh, Tuesday night football on tonight, plus playoff baseball. Can't complain. So we are rocking and a rolling. Um, First of all, Richie, where are you from?
So I am born and raised in Canton, Ohio, home of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. In case anybody doesn't know where that's at. Uh, Lived there, been in Stark County my whole life. Went to school here. Went to Kent. Um, right now, I live in Jackson Township, which is kind of a little township in Stark County, kind of on the Massillon border. Not really though. Um, Got two girls, got a wife, dog named Zeke, avid football fanatic. Um, Buckeyes. Got my Tampa Bay Bucks here. Um, yeah, man. Just love football. I'm excited to be here.
All right. So we'll dive right into social media. We got Carter running everything behind the scenes tonight. Vanderbilt uh, upsets Alabama this week. So the Vandy people have taken it upon themselves to auction off uh, 4-inch pieces of the goalpost. Carter's pulling it up right now. They're auctioning off goalposts, pylons, personalized footballs, like 800 bucks for a pylon. I mean, that's just wild to me.
I mean, of course, someone's going to try and cash in on probably one of the biggest upsets of this college football season. I mean, who would have seen that upset come? Vandy coming and kicking the teeth into number one Alabama. I sure as hell didn't. My parlay, I had Bama money line, no problem. I can only imagine the people that put their parlay together with the money line with Vanderbilt, with Minnesota. Like, how much are they cashing out this past weekend? You know, um, yeah. I mean, it's a piece of history. I mean, somebody's going to have that. Be like, hey, yeah, I bought this today. Last weekend when Bama got upset. I mean, that's like once in a lifetime.
Because to me they're selling the footballs, the goalposts, and I'm sure it's not stopping people from going down to the river and trying to cut a piece of the goalpost off themselves. Um,
Oh yeah.
and on that, it is $1,000 for a pylon is just unbelievable. Um, I just couldn't imagine spending that type of money or that on something. I mean, I get it; it's a piece of history. It's just kind of wild to me. They have also a side note: Diego Pavia is also 2-0 versus the state of Alabama because he did beat Auburn last year. So he he truly
he,
is the Iron Bowl
he
guy.
yeah, he owns the state of Alabama.
And so I guess with that, it is that's a piece of history. I mean, I'm never going to forget that game. I'm sure you're never going to forget that game
No,
either. So
no. I mean, I couldn't believe my eyes. I thought Bama was going to get that ball back, go down, drive down, and score, and sure as hell they couldn't get it done.
yeah, so um, with that being said, we'll move on to the next topic. We're going to go to the on three Heisman poll that we got here. Um, whenever we got Carter doing it in the back, whenever yep, on cue. Um, I don't know if you've seen this, but if you could read the names, do you agree with that list so far?
I would say so. I mean, the top five, I'd say the top four are right up there for Heisman contention. That kid out of Boise State, that kid's a stud. Like, the numbers he's putting up is ridiculous. I
He's
just he could, if he wins that Heisman, he's going first round, no doubt. He'll go probably mid first round, maybe top five if he wins it. I mean, and they go to the playoffs, hey, you never know, man. That kid could be a top 5 pick.
Because on the Group of Five show that we do on Friday, I was doing some research on Boise. Their last toughest game they got for the year is UNLV, and I believe that is either next week or coming up soon. And that's what we got. That's what we got rolling there. But I on the Heisman list, I'm surprised Cam Ward is that high, to be honest. And Cam Ward, Jeremiah Smith, even though there's been no promotion out of Doug Archie for Jeremiah Smith.
No. If Jeremiah Smith explodes this weekend against the Ducks, he could propel him. Maybe top 2. Maybe over Travis Hunter. I know. I mean, you never know.
Here's just my thoughts on the Travis Hunter thing for Heisman. I don't think they'll let him win it. Just because he doesn't have one side or the other declared as far as what position he plays. And I think you're going to get – I think Milroe's going to get some love late. And I don't understand the Kyle McCord for Heisman. I don't understand that.
Honda McCord. I don't see with Honda. Jalen Milroe, he's got to do something to get over that loss. I mean, because that stinging loss of being number 1 at Vanderbilt, that's going to possibly tarnish his Heisman candidacy to try to get one.
Yeah. Diego Pavi, if they keep winning, I could definitely see him. Making a move to inch towards closer to the Heisman. Ryan Williams, I don't know if you know this, he's 17. If anybody hasn't told you, but the kid out of IU, if they keep winning, Indiana, this is a little bit off the script here. A lot of people were making fun of Cignetti coming into the season, but I don't think they're making fun of him now. He's 6-0.
No, they kind of scare me a little bit. Just
Indiana.
a little bit. Not yet. They still got a ways to go.
Yeah, they still got to. I mean, they play Ohio State and Michigan, and them rolling in. It could be a banger of a game.
The thing is, Iowa always plays Ohio State tough, no matter what. Most of the time, they play Ohio State tough. I mean, Urban's first year, Ohio State was kicking their butt, and they barely won Ohio State won by 3. The year after the Natty, it was a dogfight to the bitter end.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, they're going to give Ohio State their very best shot when they play them.
Yeah, and I don't think Cignetti's messing around. And on another side note, I didn't realize this until somebody had sent it to me when I was in the middle of getting everything around to hop on tonight. Stallions did the Bussin' with the Boys. I can't believe they had him on there, to be honest.
Oh God, what's his record in high school now? Is he like 0-8?
He did win a game, but I don't know. I'm kind of out on just the whole. In the clip that I watched that I was sent was that he says Ohio State has a guy that, like, an information guy that does what he does, and I don't believe that.
No, he's just trying to cover his tracks.
So I guess when it comes to the Michigan stuff, I'm kind of to the point to where until something happens, I guess it's newsworthy at this point.
Yeah.
Moving on, we got the CFP Bracketology by On3. I think Carter's going to pull that up for us. So it's got all 12 teams listed here. What are your thoughts on that bracket as it currently sits?
The Fighting Mormons at number 4? Really?
Well, because they would be the highest the conference champion out of the Big 12.
I don't know. That's that's a tough one. I think everybody else is pretty set, but the Mormons, I don't know, man. They're gonna have to pray to John Smith, and make sure they can battle with the big boys.
Well, the thing that lies in BYU's favor is the fact that they've already slayed their, I think, the toughest opponent on their schedule. I can pull up their schedule real quick, but I think they've played the toughest contender, which I'm high on BYU, especially at home. Because you've seen what they did to Kansas State, the guy with the whole burrito incident. It just, whatever that did happen, I had somebody send that to me, so I definitely sent it to Carter at early in the morning so he could see that early in the morning. Just the St. Bill Snyder. It's an interesting time.
So do you think Notre Dame could hang with Miami?
If it was me, I would rather Notre Dame have the 12 seed or the 5. Because I think the 5 seed puts you in pretty good company.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because if you can play the Big 12 winner, it's an easier path.
Right. Yep. Definitely.
Because on the right side of the bracket, you're going to get probably the number 2 ACC team and or a Big 10 team on the right side of the bracket, but they got to play the SEC winner or the ACC winner. But being in that 5 quadrant, which they better hope somebody beats Navy, because that's going to be a mess. That's going to completely render everything moot.
What if Navy can sneak in there somehow?
Because look at this. Me and Carter talked about this briefly last week. So the Selection Sunday is before the Army and Navy game. If you look it up, it's before the Army Navy game. So you could potentially have Army and Navy both undefeated if they beat Notre Dame. Then Notre Dame's out. Then they play for the Commander in Chief after the selection show. So what do? If you put Navy in instead of Army, and Army beats Navy and they're undefeated, what do you do?
Put both of them in. Why not?
But it's played a whole week before though. Right. That's the problem. That's why I don't think they really thought this through, because I believe Navy plays Tulane, and Tulane will probably be their toughest game in the American. Because you could have Army Navy in the American Championship, Selection Sunday, and then Army Navy again after that.
I do think Boise State may have a outside shot to get in. I mean, Texas A&M. They could lose. Who else do they play this year?
I'll grab A&M schedule here in a second, but I pulled up BYU's schedule. So BYU's toughest test is they have to go to Utah, which that's not really a big deal for them. It's just across off the state, I believe, where Provo's at. Not sure where Mormonville is, but they have Arizona at home. They have Oklahoma State at home. They got to go on the road to UCF, which I don't.
They'll destroy UCF.
Yeah, I don't know that the quarterback Daniels, he's looking like a right tackle. So, and then they have Kansas. Kansas has been kind of disappointing. Arizona State, who knows what team is going to show up there. And then you have Houston, which Houston is a mixed bag of crap right now, just for the simple fact of they can't score. Willie Fritz is in the process of rebuilding that place, Everybody thinks I'm nuts. Willie Fritz, just give him a little time. He can win some football games. But the next team you were wondering was A&M. I will get that schedule pulled up. But I'm not shocked that A&M came out there and dog walked Missouri, to be honest with you.
I'm glad they dog walked Missouri. Screw that coach. That dude was talking a big game last year. Oh, we beat Ohio State. Like, bro, half the team wasn't even there. Like, come on.
Yeah, you didn't play against Marv or anybody like that.
Yeah,
But
you didn't have. Well, you were playing against the JV.
the offensive line definitely. The defense was legit. That's why they only gave up like 9 or 10 points. But Texas A&M. Here we go. Schedule. So A&M lost opening week to Notre Dame. A&M has left. They got to go at Mississippi State. The Fighting Jeff Levy's. Then they have LSU at home, which I think that's an interesting game. Got to go see the Mayo Man in Shane Beamer in South Carolina, New Mexico State. Watch out for them, even though they don't have Jerry Kill anymore. They got to go see the Baptist preacher himself, Mr. Hugh Freeze, and the Auburn Tigers. And
Hugh Freeze.
and then they have the vaunted Texas Longhorns to round it out for the year.
On Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah. So
I mean, could they get in with a 3-loss? Lose to LSU and Texas?
If let's say Miami wins out and Clemson wins out, and Clemson's only loss is in the ACC championship game, I think you put a 1-loss Clemson in over a 3-loss A&M. Just my opinion.
Right. But ESPN, their bias, they're going to want to have more than one. They're going to have 4 teams in the playoff.
Because I think you get 3 lock SEC teams, which Carter chiming in the chat. You'll get 3 lock SEC teams, which I think as long as Bama doesn't lose again, as long as Georgia doesn't lose again, and A&M, I think, can get in with 2 losses. I think Texas may run the table. The only team that I think beats them is Georgia, if anybody. Penn State will get in with 1 loss because I think their 1 loss will be to Ohio State.
Right.
Oregon will probably come in with 2 losses because they'll probably play Ohio State. They play Ohio State this week, and then they'll lose possibly in the conference championship game if they make it, because that's the one thing with the divisions, which I like it, but I dislike it in the Big Ten, because if you have the top 2 teams with the best record, what if you have 2 teams that are like 7-1? What do you do with that? And they never played each other. You know what I mean?
Yep. I know what you mean.
It's just dumb because there's no like distinct tiebreaker. And then if you look at the bottom, when Carter had the bottom of the graphic, the first 4 out teams, I'll just read them to you: Iowa State, Ole Miss, Kansas State, Tennessee.
Tennessee. Losing to Arkansas.
Yeah, that was a tough loss for Tennessee there. I just don't see I just do not see a good road for Tennessee, because Carter will disagree. They play the vaunted Fighting Billy Napiers and the Florida Gators, and Heupel was like 1-3 against the Gators. So let that sink in. And they lost last year. That's where the guys squared up on the field. So Ole Miss has looked a little shaky. I think they're trying to find an identity on offense, to be honest. If it was up to me, I think Dart has struggled a little bit. Hey, all right, Carter. The Gators, don't be downing on my Gators, all right? they're not going to make the playoff, but 5-7 is realistic. Let's just come to.
I mean,
Let's just.
they could make the Taco Bell Shark Bowl. You never know. With
Hey,
5-7, 6-6.
well, I think 6-6 is a huge upgrade for the Gators. It's better than what I thought they were going to be. I thought they were going to be 3-9 and or 4-8. It's just what that is. But Kansas State has
I just can't believe Florida State's the way they are this year. I'm like, I never thought they'd be that
that
shitty,
bad.
that bad.
Yeah, Florida State. I don't know. From per sources, I heard that Norvell used the Bama opening to get everything that he wanted out of Florida State, and he got everything he wanted. And now, what do you do with him? Because if they're not very good, they've got to figure out how to build their program not off of the transfer portal. That's just my sentiment, my feeling on that. I don't think that they've scouted and not developed, but I think they had a lot of miss evals in the portal. And they tried to bring a bunch of people in through the portal, and they thought that they were going to be able to, if so and so had an issue, they could just fix it. And I don't think that has translated. But get your thoughts on the highest group of 5 teams they got here listed here is Army, UNLV, BYU, and Liberty, which is in action tonight.
As we speak, they're up 3-0.
So I'm sure you probably haven't watched much Army, but did you watch UNLV when they played Syracuse on that Friday night?
No, I did not. I figured what I was doing Friday night.
It was a good game. UNLV, let Syracuse back in the game, and that's how they ultimately won it. They took it to overtime and won. So I think it's a big stain on UNLV. And Liberty, I think, has just as equal as easy path as Boise, because Boise does have to play UNLV, and then they'll probably see them again in the Mountain West Championship. So I think between Army, Navy, Boise, and I have a dark horse to come in for the group of 5. I know Carter's probably gonna, what's your deal? The Tulane Green Wave. Dark horse.
Green Wave. Dark horse.
Tulane.
Well, but man, what if Rutgers bumps them out?
I see. The thing with Rutgers is that I don't think that they can score. That's what I'm thinking. I don't think that they can score.
Right.
Carter is, if you don't have the private chat open, Carter is
he's dogging you.
Yeah, he's very animated today. I don't understand.
He's got a little pep in his step tonight.
Yeah, I mean the guy's he for some reason he hates Florida, and he also hates the Fighting Summeralls, where they just hung 71 points on Trent Dilfer's UAB. But what are you gonna do?
Right.
So moving on, Richie, we will. But we're almost at the halfway point. So everybody out there watching, can you please hit the like and subscribe button? We're trying to grow this platform on all mediums. We're live on Twitter and YouTube. But if you can hit the like and subscribe button, we're going six days this week. So it is going to be a very busy week. This is probably one of the most interesting weekends in college football. We'll have a show on Saturday. We got Group of 5 Friday. Richie hopefully could join us again on Thursday, and then me and Carter will have definitely everything to do with the national landscape and some some Notre Dame updates as well. So if you tune in the rest of this week, we got content all this week. So with that being said, Carter has a graphic that he's going to pull up for us for the most interesting games of the week, in which, obviously, judging by the thumbnail, you know what's going to be, number one. Here it goes. All right, so we have Ohio State, Oregon. Ohio State at Oregon. This is probably the biggest game of the year, regular season wise, outside of the game. What are your thoughts, Richie?
Oh, that's definitely. I mean, that's a titanic matchup, 2 versus 3, and that's gonna decide who goes to Indy. Unless if Ohio State wins, they gotta win out. They gotta beat those pricks up north come November, and they gotta take care of business in Indy and hopefully get that number 1 seed locked up in for the playoff. Ole Miss. I mean, with the fight in Lane Kiffin's, like what the hell happened 2 weeks ago with them? I mean, they're going to Death Valley. We all know that place is hard to play in. Like, I think they're gonna get upset by LSU.
Well, here's one thing that I asked Carter about this. I said, if you take the South Carolina game away from Kentucky and then just Georgia and then Ole Miss, what do you think of Kentucky then? Pretty damn good team, right?
They're a pretty good football team. We just gotta get the ball in the damn end zone.
Yeah, I think they have issues scoring. I don't think Vandergriff was I think he looked gun shy out there when he played South Carolina, and plus the Stewart kid was wreaking havoc but nonetheless, I like Ole Miss on the road here.
See, I have a feeling. I think that the Bayou Bengals I think they're going to take that one. I just have a feeling, man. It's just tough to play down there.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I've always wanted to go to a game down there, the Tiger Bowl with my buddy Coop. We've always like, when are we going to the Tiger Bowl? Because I've always wanted to experience Death Valley. Because if it's as loud as it is on NCAA, it's got to be 20 times
awesome.
louder. It's going to be awesome. Yeah.
We'll move on to the next game. Oklahoma versus Texas. Who you like in that one?
I say Texas. I mean, is he coming back this week?
Yeah, I believe Ewers is going to play. I haven't heard that he wasn't. But for some reason, I like Oklahoma. Carter's probably going to come out and tell me I'm nuts, but Oklahoma's beat him 4 out of the last 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if Texas will be able to get it done because the year that they were, a 21-point favorite, they lost to Dillion Gabriel and those guys. I mean, Oklahoma barely won, but they won. So I'm gonna stamp it as upset of the week, Oklahoma over Texas.
I'm going the Horns. I think they're going to be. Sark's got to win this game if he wants to be in that SEC title game contention. I mean, because again, this is an SEC game. He's got to stack those wins to get in there in Atlanta. I'm just not impressed with Oklahoma. I think their quarterback stinks.
I'm not impressed with Oklahoma on offense. Now, I think Venables in the Boomers can shut them down, but it's kind of wild to me that they're only if Texas was as good as what they said they were, Texas would not be they would not be only 14 point favorites. I think it would be like 21 or 17 or 22. It'd almost be 3 touchdowns. So I think it leaves a lot to be desired, and I think people will bet that line down. I think it'll go to more of 10. I think it'll jump that many points. Or all the dumb money will come in because I'm not a 14.5 point better. That's just me though. I don't like it.
Just take the money line. Just take the money line.
All right. Moving forward, Penn State, Creepy Valley at USC, the Coliseum.
Creepy. I think Penn State's. I mean, they got the weapons on offense. Drew Aller, Katron Allen. I think they're going to be a tough foe for USC. I mean, they lost to Minnesota for crying out loud. I mean, whose is the Minnesota? Rutgers, Indiana. Like,
not Indiana, not Indiana this year.
Well, true.
Not the Fighting Cignettis. So we got. I like Penn State in that matchup. An interesting matchup. You have Iowa State traveling to West Virginia, the Fighting Neil Browns. I think this game could be a little trappy on the Iowa State side. They got to make that cross country road trip. Maybe not.
I don't know, man. I'm going to go with the Stark County boy, Matt Campbell. I think he's a good coach. I think they're going to go in there. They're going to take care of business.
I think Iowa State has a business mentality to them. I'll agree with that. I think Morgantown is a tough place to play, but I think the air is out of the sail. The Fighting Deion Sanders, the prime time Colorado Buffaloes take on Kansas State.
Oh, I got Colorado in that one.
Really?
I don't know why. I think they're starting to peak when they're supposed to peak, but I don't know. I just my gut's telling me Colorado in that one.
I don't think they're going to get blown out because I think Colorado is much better up front than what people give them credit for.
You mean on both sides of the ball or just offense?
Both sides of the ball. I think they're better up front, and I think that makes a huge difference. They went down there and took care of UCF amidst a hurricane. I just feel like it's going to be a field goal game because I think like Folsom's a tough place to play because it's at elevation. It's in the middle. Boulder's kind of in the middle of nowhere. You got to fly into Denver, then get on a bus and, do that whole song and dance. So we will move on to Cal and Pitt. Don't think I'll be watching that, but I got Cal, I guess. I don't know.
See, Pitt, I got Pitt. I don't know. For some reason, Pitt's intriguing to me. They're different. I mean, they're different this year for some reason. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. I'm liking Pitt in this one.
Yeah, I guess Pitt's at home. I've been to a couple of Pitt home games when they weren't very good. It's kind of like a morgue almost.
Kind of like a high school game?
Not even. I thought there's more cheering at a high school game. So I guess we'll just leave that one there. A lot of meat on the bone there. Washington, Iowa.
Oh, I'm definitely going to Washington on this one. I think they're coming off that high, beating those cheaters up north, those fake national title people up there in that god-awful state. I think Washington's going to blow them out of the water.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough playing at Kinnick, but that's just me. I think it'll be another like Michigan style game, like 17-27 or something like that.
Yeah,
it's going to be one of those games.
Yeah, I mean, blow them out of the water, but blow them out of the water in the sense of the Big Ten, like you said, 27-10, maybe 31-20, something like that.
So, and then we move on.
Are they playing at night?
Let me look real quick. I can. I know Kinnick Stadium's different at nighttime. Other than the fact that it's being dark, it's different.
They got to wave at those kids in the hospital. It's like, oh man, tug at your heartstrings.
Yeah. Nope, it's a nooner kickoff. Did you see Carter's response? Oh boy. So moving on here. A game that's very underrated here. Massive storylines that we've got to get to. The Florida Gators are traveling to Tennessee to take on Josh Heupel and Nico and the Vols. Who you like in that one?
I like Tennessee. I think they're gonna be playing pissed off from what happened last weekend, and they're just gonna take it out on the Gators, make some Gator cakes out of them.
I'm flying out. Yeah, okay. I think this is going to be a really close game. I think Napier is going to take the air out of the ball, and I think it's going to be a close game. I think this is a field goal game. We'll have to see. Could be wrong.
I think 45-10.
45-10. You're not even giving the Fighting Lagways a chance here. And Graham Mertz?
Carter. 45-10. They're going to play pissed off. They're going to try to make some Gator cakes out of Florida.
I don't know. I guess that's why they play the game. We'll see. We're on two different sides on this, but disagreements create good conversations, is what I was told. So,
by a legendary coach.
Yeah, legendary coach JB.
Shout out JB.
Last game on the list that I think is more interesting than the Iowa game, than the Cal game is BYU Arizona going to BYU. I think that has major Big 12 aspirations, and I think at some point in time, with Iowa State being undefeated and BYU being undefeated, they're heading on a collision course to meet in the conference championship. So, I think that's pretty much where we're at. I think BYU's got to keep winning. They're going to be at elevation. They'll probably be wearing the throwback blues. BYU's it's got 37-year-old men from their mission trip on their team. So
you got that right. Jeez.
So I think the door-to-door knockers are going to take care of business. So
they need to watch that Book of Mormon off South Park.
It'll probably end up. I'm not even going to go there. I'm not even going to go there. So those are the alleged 10 most interesting games that I think we have.
What time is that? BYU game. Is that like a 10:30 at night?
I think it might be an 11 o'clock kickoff.
Oh shit! Hopefully I can stay up that late.
No, it's not. Where is BYU? Ooh, we're lucky. It's a 4 o'clock kickoff. BYU Arizona's 4 o'clock, so
I'll have to watch it on my multi-view.
Yeah, so there's tons of good games on tomorrow. The Ohio State game kicks off at 7:30. The late game is Boise, Hawaii, and then Colorado, Kansas State kicks off at 10:15. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to be up and watching it, but some people don't take that too kind. We'll go through the next topics we have, and then we'll hit the Ohio State preview. I think we got a little bit of time. Falcons beat the Bucks in overtime. I didn't write the show today,
I know
I
knew he would. I knew he was like, we gotta talk about them Bucks. You know what? They had a chance to win that damn game.
Oh yeah, this bring up this guy's comment. Multi-view madness, yes.
Oh yep. Shout out Blake.
So
they had multiple opportunities to close that game out. There were several blown missed calls. The face mask on Bucky, which led to them punting. Baker getting hit out of bounds. Now they would have called that for Mahomes if it wasn't Baker. If it was Mahomes, 15 yards, he's tossed out of the game, 2-game suspension and a fine. for hitting Mahomes. But Baker, granted, I'm not the biggest Baker fan. Because watching him in Cleveland, I'm still sketchy on him. But the kid's he's where he needs to be in Tampa. He's got Mike. He's got CG. Um, the offensive line. They got a great, solid offensive line. It's just the damn defense cannot wrap up. They're all I see. All I've seen in the last 4 or 5 years in Tampa is arm tackling. These guys are not wrapping up, and they're playing 15 yards off the damn ball. It's like, get up in coverage, lock these guys down. I mean, they're making Kirk Cousins look like the Tom Brady Thursday night.
Well, also, I think a lot of it has to do with I'm going to sound like the old man standing on the porch, but they don't tackle in practice. And I think that's why
No, they
you
don't.
have.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. They're not bumping in practice. It's like these guys are so goddamn soft. They got to start hitting in practice because the arm tackling. Derrick Henry's going to run right through you. Saquon's going to run right through you if you arm tackle him. Hit him in. Get your head on the ball. Bury your shoulder into his thighs and drive him to the ground. But I mean, these guys, I don't know. I don't know what's the stuff that's going on with the NFL, and next thing is going to be flag football.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. Also, oh, go ahead, Richie.
But my Bucks, they go to New Orleans, even though they got that hurricane out there. Some of my friends are out there in Tampa. I just hope they're safe and whatnot. But I hope we take care of business Sunday against those New Orleans Aints.
Yeah. After that debacle that they had, it was an absolute meltdown on Monday night.
I loved it.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. Derek Carr, the interception was just bad all the way around. So
he's hot. He's hot garbage. I mean, he's just like, dude, give it up.
Yeah, I'm not a big Carr fan myself either. The Bears dominate the Panthers.
Dude,
Carter,
that's like Ohio State playing Mount Union.
I was gonna say Kent State, but
I mean, Carolina's, oh God, they're terrible. They're so shitty.
And then Carter adds a side note. He says, "Were we too quick to judge Caleb?" I don't think that when it comes to
he's still got to show me more.
I think Caleb Williams needs 34 to 40 starts in the league before you can really develop an opinion on him if he can do it or not. I think you need at least a year and a half to see what he's got. They're dumping these quarterbacks, quicker than shit. So, and then you have, but you have the ultimate, outlier in the Commanders destroy the Browns. Not a happy ending for Deshaun Watson in Cleveland.
No. When I saw Jane Daniels play against Tampa week 1, I said that kid's going to be good. I think he might be the best kid out of this quarterback class of this draft. Kid's got it. He's got the moxie. He's putting the team on his shoulders. Washington's going to be tough. They're going to be tough. Yeah. I think they found who they needed.
And I think they're probably if they can learn how to play defense, I think they're one of the more stable. They're the most stable team in the NFC East because when you break down the NFC East, the Eagles are an absolute dumpster fire. Nick Sirianni I think he's in over his head. He stinks. He has no concept of what it is to manage the clock for one. There's issues all around. I think Jalen Hurts is not feeling what Sirianni's putting out there as far as, like vibe-wise, coaching style. I just think it's all a miss in Philly. And then Jeffrey Lurie and those guys went ahead and paid him. So you're either going to stick with the quarterback or the coach, and you can't really be tossing quarterbacks around. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you look on the bench, you got Kenny Pickett there. He couldn't even beat out Mason Rudolph, and then he, cried and whined, and then they traded him to Philly, and it's like, congratulations, you didn't want to compete with Russell Wilson, so we'll replace you. How's that working out for you there, Sir Pickett? I mean, you're getting millions, but, you look like a baby back bitch. But And then you go to the Cowboys. The Cowboys are the Cowboys. We're going to get to them in a second because I know Carter wrote that in there, especially for me, because Pittsburgh absolutely shit on themselves at the goal line on defense. But, outside of, the Commanders look like the most solid. They look like the most solid
I mean,
team.
scary Terry, man, he's been blowing it up the last couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, Scary Terry's been killing it. And then the New York Giants. Who do we even know how good the New York Giants are, or what
Dude,
they have? They're the most inconsistent team in the NFL. I would say the Cleveland Browns, but the Browns are just bad. They're bad all the way around.
no, they're
So
just abysmal. I mean, they
I
can't.
it, and I mean you live up there, so like if you're a Browns fan, you're miserable all the
Well,
time.
so most of my buddies like, I'm going to Tampa to be a Bucks fan now. I'm rooting on Baker. She never got rid of Baker. I was like, well, hey, well, another team's trash is another man's treasure, you know.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's if it look at Sam Darnold. Huh,
Oh
huh,
yeah, 5-0.
yeah. Just
I thought he was completely overrated when he was coming out of U.S. I'm like, this when Ohio State played, I'm like, this kid ain't shit. Like he's nothing special to me. And that fraud Mel Kiper has him on like the #1 pick. Give me a break. But hey, props to him for putting in the work and time and work, and he's taking the league by surprise this year. I'll give him
uh
that.
Sam Darnold is one of those guys that you got him in Carter just is he is Monday morning quarterback today.
Carter.
This guy is
He's a
well
dude's a jabroni.
well, he's just mad because the Browns don't have Sam Darnold. That's all it is.
Or
They have
Baker.
no Yeah, they have no reverence of a quarterback. Cleveland is like Carter's dying on he's dying on the Watson Hill.
I think they need to put in the Cleveland Crab King myself.
That's what I've been saying. I told him that. We had the discussion offline one time and he was saying he's like, well, if Darnold gets hurt, I think we have he said this himself. I'm not misquoting Carter. If you can ask him whenever you see him, he does not think Jameis Winston would be that bad. He said he may throw some interceptions, but at least he throws it. But
Timeout. He got his eyes fixed after he left Tampa. He was 33
wow,
for 30 down his last year in Tampa, and dude, I didn't even know he had an eye problem. Now look at him.
look at Carter in the chat. This guy, you give this guy you make this guy the producer, and he
And
comes
he
up with all
runs with
these
it.
he comes up with these wild ideas. But yeah, that's the synopsis on that. Cleveland, and then we have the Steelers absolutely crapping on themselves on the goal line in the red zone versus the Cowboys. I knew on the final drive it was probably going to be curtains. Justin Fields lost back-to-back games. As soon as they thought Fields was hurt, Russ threw that cap off real quick like he was going to come in and get an opportunity.
Let's ride.
I do not want him to be the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Give me Davis out or give me the Allen kid no matter what. We've got like some finite details here that I don't think Russ is hurt. I do not believe that Russell Wilson is hurt at all.
No, I don't think he's hurt either. I think it's just a cover story.
And
JF probably beat him out in camp. I think that's what I think happened.
that's what I think happened too. And I think the Steelers are going to cut bait with Russ. I think Fields is the future. A lot of people doubt Fields, but the Steelers don't have a #1 receiver at all. I mean Pickens, but Pickens is really inconsistent. So it's just one of those things. So the last last 10 minutes here. The people know that the Saints crapped on themselves, and the Saints got beat 26-13 last night. I took the Saints plus 5.5. I knew I shouldn't have done that, but just wild times. We can save the Penn State for Thursday, and we'll dive into some of the Ohio State Oregon if you don't mind in this last 10 minutes here. Um, what are your expectations if you were Chip Kelly game planning this? What would be what would be the focal point? Would it be to get JJ rolling early? Would it be to get Will Howard in rhythm, or would it be to just unleash the dogs? Because I think that's what's going to happen this game.
I think it's gonna be unleash the dogs. They haven't shown what they're really capable of. As far as the playbook goes, I think Chip and Ryan, they've been schematically plotting and planning to just let it all hang this game, because this game's the game of the year. Um, I think we're gonna see different things that we never thought were possible at Ohio State. Um, I mean, they're gonna. I mean, they got the whiteouts. Will Howard's gonna unleash all holy hell against Oregon, I think. The two-headed monster at tailback, Thunder and Lightning, Travion and Q. Man, I don't know if Oregon can stop them. Yeah, they're at Oregon, but to me, I don't think Oregon's not been impressive at all to me. I'm thinking, like, it's gonna be tough when we go to Oregon. In the last 4 or 5 weeks, they've been duck shit. They've been
I
terrible.
I would agree to that. Boise State ran all over them, which
Yeah,
that's something that I would, if I'm Chip Kelly, I mean, why air it out if you can let Quinshon and Travion they might end up with 100 apiece. To be honest, probably 10 or 15 carries apiece, 100 apiece. That's what I think it's looking at. This game, as far as a betting side of it, opened up at 3.5. Is what ESPN Bet has it at 3.5. It's down to 3. So Ohio State is minus 165 on the money line. Oregon plus 140. Over under, interesting spot here. 53.5. It's been bet down from 55.5. So it's moved 2 points from when it's officially opened. I think, you know, I think Oregon's going to have their hands full with JJ Smith. Probably, a top 1 or 2 or 3 candidate for the Heisman Trophy, if we're being, being for real here. So, Ohio State's tax was stopping Dillion Gabriel. I think a lot of it's going to come down to JTT and Jack Sawyer, Tyleek Williams.
yeah. Get that rush lane, get them and wrap them up, rattle them. That kid ain't that. He's not that. He don't scare me. He really doesn't. Yes, he's a lefty, which is unique, but to me, I don't see it. I just don't see it with him.
I
think
don't.
I think Will Howard's gonna be pumped up. He's gonna be ready to prove, hey, this is why I came here to play in a big game like this. I'm gonna shut all the doubters up, and why we should be number one. Why the Buckeyes? I mean, they're for real.
The only thing that I think is quite worrisome is if Ohio State starts slow, but I think they'll figure it out. If the coin toss, Ohio State, the last couple weeks they've kind of started slow, but I don't know if that is Chip just limiting the offense to not to show too much, because you could have a.
I
Go
would
ahead,
agree with
Richie.
that. No, I would agree with that, Duke. Completely.
Be,
I was just talking to my buddy Coop tonight. Like, I I don't think we've seen everything that Ohio State's capable of on offense. Like they're both sides, like Oregon and Ohio State. I just don't think they've maybe, I'd say, bring out the playbook like 15%. I think we're going to see the full playbook on display on Saturday.
For both teams is what you're saying. Yeah, because that was one of the reasons why I brought up the over under. I think Oregon can score. I don't know if they'll be able to score against Ohio State, but I think there's going to be some Chip is going to unleash the dogs, and I think it'll finally cure a lot of people complaining. Like, you had people complaining last year saying, "Oh, they only won by 31 points. They didn't cover the spread." And it's just like, come on, guys. Like, what were they favored against Akron? 48 points. This is going to be Iowa was the first real test, but was it really a test? They beat them 38-7, and then they beat Michigan State 38-7. They're only allowed.
Like I said, I don't think they've unleashed everything yet. I think we'll see everything Saturday.
And as far as on the defensive side of the ball, I don't think they've even scratched the surface, to be honest, either.
No.
I think Knowles has been very vanilla this year. He hasn't really had to get after anybody. So I think you're going to have a different look offense. You're going to have a totally different look defense going into this. So Ohio State might look like a totally different team coming out than what Oregon is expecting.
What if here's a weird scenario? What if Chip Kelly throws in the wing T come Saturday down at the goal line?
I
mean, could like what would you do? Like, what the hell? They're running the wing T? Like, damn.
Well, if you look at it, Jerry Kill and Clark Lee decided to run spread wishbone against Alabama, and they couldn't figure that out. And it was literally the same play. It was not. It was just trap and counter.
Right.
He's either going to give it or run around the end. So, I mean, I get it. It's more complicated than that, but but simplifying it down, that's really what it was. So that's where we're at here. And, Ohio State, Oregon, this has been the most anticipated weekend of college football. Last week, everybody going into it said that, the week before was going to be a sleeper fest.
Yeah. We had 3 upsets last week. I was like, jeez.
You had 3 upsets in the top 10, because Alabama, Tennessee, and who else went down last week that wasn't supposed to?
Alabama, USC.
USC. So you had 3 top 10. I totally forget. I try to block PJ Fleck out of my mind.
He's such a dork.
He's really weird. Carter said he knows him somehow. I don't know.
Who's car salesman?
Yeah. Somehow the 5 top 10 losses and Missouri. Carter back there with the stats.
Thank you, Carter.
I'll take back what I said about you and PJ Fleck. Because you already know Carter's back there, he's having he says PJ Fleck wishes he was me. So
PJ Fleck wears Carter Smith pajamas to bed.
Oh no. An Under Armour shirt?
Yeah. No, I'm saying like, with Carter's picture on his PJs.
Oh, probably.
How Chuck Norris would wear Superman pajamas, or Superman wear Chuck Norris pajamas.
Yes. One real interesting game. We got about 2 minutes left. I think people are overlooking. Is I just realized that it was on Friday. Is Arizona State Utah is on Friday night, and I think we may be closing in on another upset there. I'm not sure, but that's just something to look at, and then we could look at some more stuff on Thursday. But with that being said, the show is almost over. We're closing down here the last 30 seconds. Everybody out there, want to thank Richie for coming on, agreeing to come on tonight. Take some time out of his evening to entertain everybody that's watching. Also,
Shout
if
out,
you could hit,
shout out Blake. Shout out Matthew. Thanks for watching, boys.
And then if you could hit the like and subscribe button, that will help us grow the show and keep everything a moving and a grooving. And we're just trying to get this show bigger. We added Richie to the team, so another opinion, some more insight, which will help us out a lot. Some more entertainment, somebody to help fill in. Also, it helps whenever I show up on time. So, with that being said, everybody, have a good evening.
Later, folks.